So an EV charging point will put 5 grand on your house apparently in value. Really? If that's the case, then answer these 2 questions for me. 1, why isn't everyone who's selling their house just installing an EV charger? And 2, why am I carrying out jobs like this regularly? So, it turns out that an EV charger doesn't really add a lot of value to your house, which is why I'm taking this one out. So in this video, we're going to be discussing house valuation and EV chargers. Is it worth leaving it there or taking it with you if you move house? And also the hot topic of bidirectional RCBOs when installing an EV charger. On the new property, I'm going to be showing you some new brackets that Simpson & Partners have brought out that replace these tiny little screws that always fall out, which will make this installation far easier. And will stop you dropping the screws like I've already done here. And as you can see here, with the inverted stuffing gland, absolutely no moisture has got in there whatsoever. So if you're concerned with back entry, stuffing glands installed like that, you've got nothing to worry about as long as you do it properly. And make sure if you're doing this, not to lose those tiny little washers, because you're going to need it on the next one. And doing that silicone trick that I always do, as you can see here, has provided a lovely seal. One thing I do find absolutely bizarre on this job is that not only am I taking out the EV charger, the new people don't want any of the installation left behind. So I'm taking a lot out, cable, consumer unit, everything. And this is why I love the D-line clips also, because if you ever find yourself in this situation, look how easy they are to remove. So that's that bit done. On this job, I've used the D-line screws rather than the spit gun because it's in breeze block and the screws get a better fixing, but all I have here is a little hole to make good. Whereas if you use another brand, which I'm not going to mention, you have to drill a 10mm hole, and that's a far bigger hole to make good, and the clips are a lot harder to get out. If you know, you know. And when these D-line clips keep so well, I can literally just reuse this on the other side. One thing to remember, which I have forgotten previously on another job, is if you move one of these chargers from one house to another, don't forget to take your CT with you, because it's very easy to rush this and leave it behind. Not only has all that gone, but yes, even the wooden backboard has got to go. When you're doing a job, when the EV charger is moving house, sometimes it's very difficult to get to the new property to carry out a survey. So I hadn't had a good look at this property before they moved in order to see what was really involved. It's relatively simple, but where the cable goes into the house, I'm going to really struggle to make that look tidy. Let me show you. This is the existing consumer unit, which is a metal RCBO BG consumer unit, which is fine, but this wall is offset to the one outside and I can't lift the floor up to get my cable in, so I need to bring it in here somewhere and then bring it up. So I might put a bit of trunk in here if I get the hole right. And outside, so I'm gonna have to drill my hole in this corner at an angle to try and get it on the inside corner, if that makes sense. And then to clip my cable, I wanted to put it underneath this render, and I'm not going to be able to do it because they've already got an SWA and a BT cable, so there's no room there. So I'm going to have to clip it along the render on this side. Sometimes there's just nothing you can do about that. I'm going to take it off hammer to try and stop blowing the inside. So that come through there, which is basically perfect. And before I go all the way through, I'm going to open up the 20mm hole from the other side to prevent any more of the painting getting destroyed. Now I am going to be using the existing consumer unit because it's absolutely fine. The only modifications that I'm going to be making to it is installing a surge protection kit and installing another RCBO. Now you need to be careful when using BG gear that you install the right one. So these RCBOs are single pole. BG have brought out a new double pole type A RCBO, which is also bi-directional. So if you find yourself installing an EV charger on an existing BG board, make sure you get this one. I can get away with it if I can put my charger here. I'll have to have a chat. So we have the Simpson & Partners charger back out. I'm going to take it apart and we'll give it a good clean up as well. Now this charger, as I've shown in another video, it's got these tiny little screws in these corners which are a bit of a nuisance, and personally I always lose them. Today I'm going to show you the new solution which comes as standard now with the chargers. For me, I contacted Simpson & Partners and asked if I could just have a couple of the new brackets just for the purpose of this video, which they kindly have supplied. So I'll show you what they look like in a second. So I've already lost a screw. Because this install now is bottom entry rather than back entry, there's a modification that I have to make in order to maintain the IP rating. I'm also going to replace the stuffing gland because it looks a little bit on the knackered side now. And once again, today I'm going to be using the A3 power bank. This is 2 weeks continuous use now, and I'm up to 60%. I was at 58 last week, somehow I've gained 2%, which is great. I think this thing serves many purposes, to be honest. If you are in the construction industry, this could be possibly used for core drilling firms. It could be used for bricklaying firms to put your barrows on the spin for knocking out your muck. I think this thing has an awful lot of potential, not just for camping. Brilliant bit of kit, that battery. And don't forget to reinstall those washers, which I put in a very safe place. Found them. Before you mount this to the wall, I need to seal up the back hole, and I'm using a 25mm blind grommet. Ba ba ba, dooby dooby doo. Can we make a deal? We're running out of time. You can rule illumination if we can keep the night. Inside this box we have the new part. And another thing. So now when you put your lid on, those little screws are no more. When you buy a new charger, it's going to come with these, and these slot in just like that with retaining screws. Hey you can turn the sun away, wrap the moon in night. If we can do what we do best, we're nocturnal lights. Oh, and you can take your radio frames on the magic glide. Yeah, we can do what we must do to keep the dream alive. The only other thing I won't be able to do on this install is connect it to the internet because I haven't got it in place yet. So I'm going to give this charger a clean up. I'll see you next week. Subscribe to my channel.